Hi everybody, this is the second video in the series for the cast-ons for the Tristitchalong, Topsy-Turvy Tristitchalong. This is going to be the Tunisian part. Now, as I had said in the introductory video, you don't have to have a Tunisian hook, but what you do have to have is a hook that doesn't have the ergonomic handle, because you need the length on the shaft to cast on your stitches. So, but I mean, this Tunisian hook I got from Knit Picks when they were on sale, and I do have. But you can use, if you have an Afghan hook, same that you can. Those work great too. So you'll need yarn and a crochet hook. So for this, we're going to make a slip knot. Take a crochet hook, and I think everybody pretty much knows how to chain, and I'm just going to chain 20. 1, 2, 3, get that out of the way there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Make my chains too tight. 13. You don't want to make your chains too tight when you're doing your first row of Tunisian. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We'll do 18. Always count your chains. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. Okay, so we'll make it 20. I like even numbers. Nice round numbers. There's 20. Okay, so that's what how you start with. You start with a chain. Now, to pick up your stitches, you're going to turn your chain over. Okay, and on the back, you're going to see these little bumps. And through that bump, you're going to take your hook and you're going to go under that bump, yarn over, pull it through, leave it on your hook. Find your next one, go underneath the bump, yarn over, pull your yarn through. Now you're leaving all of these on. No, this just doesn't work, does it? Do it that way. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go, and the reason you use the back bump is it gives you a neater edge. Yarn over, pull it through. And when you get done doing this, you should have the same amount of loops on your hook as you did chains. So we should have 20 chains on our hook. And that's why I tell you to don't crochet too tight, because you want to get into that back loop. If you have a crochet hook that has a semi-pointed head on it, it makes it a little bit easier. There. You just take your time, you get down and pick your loops up, and then I'm going to show you the return pass. That completes the row. I get down here, then we'll go back and we'll count our loops on our hook. There should be 20. Sometimes people forget that last chain. It is a chain. Now, Tunisian, unlike regular crochet, what we're going to be doing, you don't turn your work. You always are working on the one side, the right side. I'm hoping that just, we're just going to be doing basics, nothing fancy. Maybe as we get further on, we'll try a little bit more advanced stitches, but not, still in the beginner range. I can't get my crochet hit. I can crochet a little. I put my chain just a little too tight. There, a couple more to go here. There's that there. We should have one more. Now, when we go back, we should have 20 loops. Now I always pull, when I get down to this last stitch, I always pull my loop tighter, just so it does away with some of the slack from, just your slip knot. So let's count. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So that's your cast on for your Tunisian. And your first row is half complete. But these videos are just about the cast on. So remember, you do up your number of chains, then you go into the back loop, yarn over, pull through, and you keep all the loops on your hook. Because to finish the row, you do what's called a return pass. This first stitch is always your chain end, your end stitch, which is a chain. You only go through one loop. You yarn over, and draw through the first loop, like that. And then the rest of the way down, it's yarn over and draw through 2 loops. Yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, draw through 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 2 loops, and you do this all the way to the end, and you'll always end up with your original 1 stitch on the hook. So when you finish this here, I'll show you your first row. Almost a couple more. And this return pass, you do this return pass all the time. This finishes off the row. 2, and last one. Pull it out. And that is your foundation row. And that is a Tunisian cast on. And if you look behind here on the back side, by going through the back loop, it's much neater, a neater edge, especially when you're going to seam. And if you look, you can see your V's that go like this along the bottom. So that is the cast on for the Tunisian. I hope this helped you, and we will be having more videos for this tutorial, more tutorials for this stitch along. So the next one we're going to do is, may as well do the second one in this, is we're going to do the crochet starting chain. Now, I'm not going to assume, because maybe some of my knitters don't know how to crochet. So take your yarn, we're going to start it the same way as we did Tunisian. Take your hook, tighten down your slip knot, and you're going to yarn over and draw through, make a chain. Yarn over, draw through, yarn over, come through, yarn over, come through. And this is your starting chain when you're crocheting. There's other ways to start, but this is the one I've always used. They have a single crochet foundation, double crochet in that, but we're just using the old school chain foundation, starting chain. And so you chain up how many stitches you're going to need for your block, and that's how you do it. And try not to make your first chains too tight, so when you go to get, you're going to go into your stitch, you can get into your stitch without too much difficulty. Because if it's too tight, then you're going to have difficulty getting in, to do your stitches. But that is how you do a starting chain for crochet in your starting foundation row for your Tunisian. Now the other one that we're going to do is we're going to be having the knitting. So let's pull this out. Here's my knitting needles. Now I told you you could use straight needles. These are called, let me zoom this out a little bit. These are called single point knitting needles. And these were a gift from a very dear subscriber, and they're very lovely. You can also use a circular for this if you want, if you have it, but you don't have to run out and buy all these expensive things. You can get a set of knitting needles from Walmart, Amazon. You can get an individual circular if you so choose. But I thought I would do the demonstration with the single point knitting needle. So, to do the cast on, you need one needle. Say we're going to cast on 20 stitches. What I do when I'm figuring out my cast on, how much yarn I'm going to need, I will take my needles, whether they're circular or straights, and I will put them together, and I will take my yarn, leave myself a little bit of a tail, and I will wrap it around half the amount of stitches I want to cast on. I'm going to cast on 20, so I'm going to wrap it 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I pull that off, and you take your yarn and you pull it in half like that. Then we're going to make a slip knot. Now we're going to do what's called the long tail cast on or slingshot method. So you put your needle into your slip knot, tighten it down. Then you'll see the yarn like this. It'll be hanging, one in the front, one in the back. Usually I keep my working yarn here to the back, and I put my tail right here. Okay, so you take your fingers, your thumb and your pointer finger, and put them in between the V there, like that. Grab the two bottom pieces like this in your hand with your other two fingers, and you're going to make, looks like a slingshot. Okay, and to do this, you're going to go under the thumb, around the pointer finger, then back down through the thumb. Do that again. You're going to come up under, around pointer finger, and back down through the thumb. I'll do that real slow. You're going to, come up through the loop there, and you're going to go around the loop there, then you're going to come back down through the circle and pull. Up, around, down through, and tighten. So, I'm going to do my cast on here. Sometimes you get a rhythm going. Yeah, you get a rhythm going. And I'm going under, around, down through, tighten my stitch. Okay. You go under, around, down through, stitch. Under, around, down through, and tighten. So there is your chain. And, I mean, like I said, you'll come up, you'll get a rhythm going where you do your cast on. It's like that. Now the foundation row for knitting. Now we're just going to say we're doing a knit stitch, and you don't want to make these stitches too tight, which mine are a little tight, because you want to be able to get your other needle in. And just to do a knit stitch, we're going to just do the first foundation row. Now, all these videos are for right-handed. Left-handed, there's a lot of tutorials on there how to do left-handed. I do apologize, but I have not figured out how to knit and crochet left-handed. I can, but it's very sloppy. So you take your needle and you put it through your loop from front to back. Okay? You take your yarn, wrap it around your needle, just like that. Okay? And then you're going to come through and you're going to slide that off. Go from front to back, like that, around, push your needle, and come through that and cast it off. We'll have more tutorials about the knitting stitches and stuff, and I'm going to have people that are going to be doing this make along. They're also knitters that will be they'll be able to help people. If we need to, we can do a Zoom. So you just go like that, back, yarn over. I'm doing this the English style. I do continental knit also, which is different. Continental knitting, and I do find some of my crocheters do better on the continental knitting. The yarn is held in your left hand, okay? And you go through and you bring your yarn that way and take it off. I'm looking at my LED screen to do this. And that's continental. But most people do the English method, American, or they're throwers. That's what this is called, a thrower. And there's lots of videos on there about different knitting methods. But again, come here, go through, front to back, wrap your yarn around. Sorry about that. Come back through like that, and then pull it off, around, come back through and off, come back over and off, through and off. Now these are just knit stitches, but you'll be able to see your foundation row. There's your foundation row for knitting. And when we get into more tutorials and into the stitch along, we'll talk about right side and wrong side. But that is your Tunisian, your knitting, and your crochet cast-ons. And those are the three we're going to use for the stitch along. So I hope these helped. And any questions, please put them into the comments or message me or email me, and I will gladly get back to you. So, looking forward to having some fun with this stitch along. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Hugs, smiles, and happiness. Pass it on. Make the world a better place. Bye for now from Deer Island.